So let's talk about non-terminating but repeating decimals. Okay, the one I always use to start with is this decimal. Okay, what is 0.3333 continuing? What rational form is that? It's 1/3, right? You're all familiar with that. Okay, let's go through the steps of converting into rational form in order to prove this and see the steps that are required. Okay, the first one is set your original value equal to x. Okay, and I'm going to write x in front for that. Okay, so I'm just going to say x is equal to, and then whatever the repeating decimal happens to be. All right, step 2 is to identify the number of digits that repeat. Okay, so how many digits repeat in this value? Now I have 3 digits there, but how many are repeating? Okay, well, it repeats infinitely, but how many different digits are actually repeating there? Just the 3, right? So it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So I could have also just written this as 0.3 continuing, right? So you look to see how many digits repeat. I'm going to write that number right here. Again, as you start to do this, you don't have to write this number. I'm just trying to color code things and give you a step-by-step process to follow. All right, once you have the number of digits that are repeating, you're going to multiply both sides. Of the equation from step 1 by 10 to the power of whatever your value in number 2 was. So what I'm basically going to do, and just to write it out, again, you don't have to write these steps each time, but I'm going to take 10 to the power of whatever number of digits repeated, and I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by that value. So 10 to the first is 10. So 10 times x gives me 10x, and 10 times 0.33333 is, I move the decimal 1 place over, so it's 3.3333. Okay, once I do this, I'm now going to subtract the equation from this previous step, equation 3 minus the original equation. So I'm just going to take what I have right here and subtract it. So 10x minus 1x is 9x. And here, the whole idea of getting these repeating portions to line up means when I subtract 3.33 continuing minus 0.33 continuing, the continuing repetitive decimals are going to cancel completely. And I'm left with 3 minus 0, which is 3. And so my final step here is to now solve for x, and that gives me my rational form. So if I divide both sides by 9, I get x is equal to 1/3. Okay. All right, I want you guys to try this with a 2-digit number. Okay, so Christopher, give me 2 digits. Okay. Okay. So let's say we take 5.12, and that 12 is what continues. And see if you can follow these directions and find the rational form of 5.12121212. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start talking through this. Okay, and I'll follow the steps that you can see. The first step is to set the original value equal to x. Then identify the number of digits repeat. In this case, how many digits repeat? 2. And so 10 to the second is what value? 100. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 100. Okay, so 100 times x is 100x. And 100 times 5.121212. Again, multiplying by a power of 10 just involves moving the decimal. So we're going to move the decimal to the right how many places? 2. So 5, 1, 2. So we get 5, 12. But then this bar means that the 1, 2s are going to continue. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that continues to repeat. So what I can now do is I can subtract these two lines. So 100x minus x is 99x. Okay, and then here the repeating parts, the 0.12's repeating, are going to cancel. So really I'm left with 512 minus 5, which leaves me with 507. And so now solve for x, divide by 99. And I get x is equal to, and I want to simplify the form completely. So if I take 507 divided by 99, hit enter, it should simplify it for me. I get 169 over 33. And now I'm not going to circle this yet because I can actually verify that this is the correct answer. So what I'm going to do is, now when you're working with your calculators, if you notice, even though 507 over 99 is equivalent to 169 over 33, you could just use this form. I'm going to retype this number, but rather than retyping it, anytime you want to pull that down into your working display, just highlight it, hit enter, and it copies that down for you. So now I have 169 over 33. Okay, there's another way to make your answer display in a decimal form, and we'll talk about this in just a second as well. But if you're in auto mode, the answer will be given in whatever form you entered it. So here I entered my answer as a fraction, so it's going to give me a fraction answer. So it reduced it, but wrote it as a fraction. If I want it to give me a decimal, I need to put a decimal in my answer. So if you're in auto mode, however you enter your problem, it'll display the answer in the same format. So if I put a decimal after the 33 and hit enter, it gives me the decimal form. And is that what I was expecting it to be? Is the 1, 2's repeating? Yeah. So this is my solution. Come on.